Today we're going to be designing the app which we created. This app, we have written this in HTML and we're going to be designing it. So firstly, we're going to create our CSS and we're going to be using our CSS to design. So I'm just going to name this file style.css. It doesn't matter what you name it, but what matters is .css. So here is our CSS file, and we're going to start with general this apply. Anything I write in here now applies to everything here. That's this hash. That's what it means. So now I want all the margin to be 0. I want all their padding to be 0. I want all their box sizing to be border box, and I want all their font family to be Segoe, Tahoma, Geneva, Verdana, Sans Serif. That's if the browser doesn't have this, it must surely have this or this or this or this. So this is all I want for them all. So firstly, I'm going to start designing them accordingly. We have no business with this, so we're not going to do that. This is where we're designing from downwards. This is my body, my header. Inside my body I have three that is the body has 3 children, and that is the header, the main, and the footer. They are the 3 children of the border. And inside the header has 2 children. That is this image here and this nav here. And this main has just 1 child, which is this div. And these are the grandchildren of the main, the buttons, and they are the children of the div, then the body. So firstly, we're going to start with the body. I like designing accordingly, so I won't find any difficulties. So I'm going to start with the body. Always remember to put this. Always remember to put it, or else your code will not work. So I want the width of my body to be 100%. I want the height to be 100 VH. That's 100 view height. I want it to display its children as flex. I want the flex direction to be colon. That is, I want the children to be after each other, on top of each other. I don't want them to be lined up. I want them in a block form. I want to justify the content to be flex start, and align items to be center. Now let's see what we have here. This is how I want my code. Always remember to refresh. If you don't refresh, the new changes you make would not appear on your browser. So next one we have here, we have done our main, and next one is our header. So here we go again, header. I want the width of my header to be 100%. I want the height to be 60 pixels. I don't want it to be percent anymore. Pixels is a little smaller. I want it to display its children as flex, and by default their flex direction is row, and I want their flex direction to be row. So for that, I'm not going to put flex direction. I'm just going to put justify content to be space between. And the reason for that, I want this logo to be here and this nav to go to this side, so that's why I put it as space between. If I refresh now, you're going to, oh wait, I made a mistake. Never forget to link your style.css. I didn't link, and that's why my distance was not actually applying. So this how to link inside your head, inside this head, below the logo icon, just link then CSS. So now if we refresh, our header is going to be okay. That's what we wanted. But I don't want this one here. I want it to be flex start. So I'm just going to take it back. Instead of align items to the center, I just want it to be align items to be flex start, and I want the header to align its items to be center. And this is it, everything. So now I'm going to give it padding, so this one will move this way and this one will move this way to avoid touching the body. So I'm going to give my header padding of up and down 0 and left and right 20 pixels. You don't need to put pixels on the 0 because 0 means nothing. It's nothing. Whether percent or pixels, it doesn't matter. So it's moved. And I want to give my header a background color. I want to give it a background color of sky blue. My header background color of sky blue. So that's it. Now I want my nav, I want to remove these underlines, and I want the color to be white. So here I'm going to header nav. I want the color to be white. I want the outline to be text decoration. I want the text decoration to be none. And now I'm going to be header nav. Oh, sorry. This one is going to be header nav. Let me give it a width of 60 pixels. No, let me give 60% of its parent. A width of 60% of its parent. I want them to display as flex. I want it to align items to the center and justify them to be flexed end. I want that is to give this gap. Let me also give them gap. A gap of 10 pixels. Now let's see what we have. Yes, they spaced out, but looks like 10 pixels is a little bit small, so let's make a gap of 20 pixels to make it bigger. Then we change the color of our header Here we gave it white and remove the text decoration. Text decoration is none, and the color that is at the ankle. Here, this ankle. So here is our main. We want our main to, the width of our main to be 100%, and we want the height to be calculated. So we're going to be 100 VH minus 100 pixels. We give our header 60 pixels, and we're going to give our footer 40 pixels. So 60 plus 40 is 100, and here the 100 VH is the height of our body. That's the height of this body, and it is the total height of this our browser. So here what this simply means is we want our main to take every other space that remains after the header and the footer. Every other space that remains, we want it to be for the main. So we want the main to display it children as flex. We want it to justify content. Want it to justify its content to the center. Our default flex direction is row, and we want the buttons to be next to each other. We want it to be row. So while not adding flex direction, but you can add it, but it's a waste of time anyways. So now we also want to align items to the center. So here, this is what we have now. This is at the center, and the footer has gone to where it belongs. That's all for the main. Then for the main btn, okay, we want the main to give its children gap of 20. Okay, let's make it 30 pixels. Wanted to give its children gap of 30 pixels. Our gap is not applying, but that's fine, we'll figure that out. So what we have next here after our main is the div. Alright, the div. So here we're going to do our main div. We want our main div, and we want the width to be 100% of the parents. You should take 100% of the parent width. We don't need to give it height. We want it to give its children, which is the buttons, gap of 20 pixels. So let's see if this applies. Okay, so we want it to display its children as flex. Display its children as flex, and justify content to be center. Align items to be center as well. So here, let's see. Yeah, the gap of 20 pixels has applied. Now for the button, the main button. The button is the grandparent of the grandchild of the main. Is the grandparent of this main. So we're still going to give it its grandparent's name, which is the main button. We want it to take the width of 100 pixels, and we also want the height of 100 pixels, so they will be equal of 100 pixels. Let's see if this is too much. Okay. This is okay. This is okay. So we want the color to be white. We want the color of our text to be white. We want it to give it a background color of sky blue. We want all our apps to be sky blue, and we want a border. It's going to be an invisible border anyways, like Now this is a default border and it's black, but we don't want it black, so we're going to give it border of 1 pixels, solid white. Yes, I want it white. So instead of black, it's going to be white, although it looks as if it's not there, but it's actually there. So we want to give it border radius to curve. No, border radius. We want to curve this border, and we want it to be like 10 pixels, so it's curved. We don't want these sharp edges, we want it curved. Alright, so it's curved now. So next I'm going to give it a hover. I want something to happen when a mouse is touched on it, so I'm going to copy and paste here, and here I'm going to give it this, then hover. This is hover. So I want when they touch it, it should transform, and I want the scale to be 0.5. so when they touch it, it moves inside. You can give it 1.5, something greater than 0, so when they touch it, it expands instead of moving. Like this is what I mean. 1.5. When they touch it, it expands instead of moving, but I want it to go instead. I want it to be inside, so I'm going to give it 0.5. and it's too fast, so let me give the parent transition. That is, I want it to happen very slowly at 0.5 seconds. 0.5 seconds easing out, so I want it to happen very smoothly, and here, so very smooth. So we have nothing much to do for our footer. Is we're just going to give it a width. We want the width to be 100% of its parent. We want the height to be 40 pixels as promised. We want it to display its children or its child as flag, because it has just one child, which is the paragraph. It just has one child, so we want it to display its child as flags. Justify content to the center and align its items to the center. So here, let's see. Yeah, now I want to give a background color. I want the background color to be sky blue. Sky blue. Okay, next is the child of the footer, which is the P, the paragraph, and I'm going to tell the P to give the text color white. I want it to reduce the font size to be 15 pixels. I don't want it so obvious, so let's see. Okay, it's quite still obvious. So let's give it 12 pixels. Alright, so it's a little bit now, and this is all for this app. Stick with me, and I'm going to be adding something else to this app in my next video.